And welcome back to Subculture After Dark. Well, as you know, we have been playing a song on this show called Widow Song for a little while now, and of course that is the first single off the brand new album Propecy from Gost, and we thought today we would actually get the man behind the project on the phone to chat a little bit about this amazing brand new album. Welcome to the program, James.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now, James, tell us a little bit about this brand new album. I've had a chance to take a listen to it, and it's a lot heavier than what I think a lot of people are going to expect, but tell us a little bit about what your aims and ambitions were going into this album.
Well, I did the vocal tracks first, and that's kind of the direction I was gonna go, but then I don't remember why exactly. I decided to do more instrumental than vocal, so then I wrote the rest of the album around the four vocal tracks that are on the album.
So you kind of had a burst of creativity in 2022. Was there anything that kind of sparked that? What sparked the starting of the work on this album?
Let me think. This is just after, I guess I started really pretty close to right when I finished Rites of Love and Reverence, the full length before this one. I don't know. I released that last album during the pandemic, so the response was, I don't know, pandemic-like. And so I think I was just inspired to just get right back into it because, I wasn't that busy, and it just seemed like, I don't know, I was just inspired by the fact that there was not really anything else going on.
Now, reading a little bit about this album as well, I learnt that you were kind of inspired by the world around us at the moment as well, especially the rise of religion and politics. Tell us a little bit about what it was about that made you want to sit down and work on this album.
Yeah, so I live in East Texas, which is part of the Bible Belt in my country. That's what they call it. It's like this extreme section of our country that's very Christian. And so there's more churches here than there are, I don't know, community centers or restaurants. They're everywhere. They're on every corner. So I'm constantly bombarded with that faith. And, I don't really feel that way. So, yeah, I mean, it's always on my mind because it's just around me. Everybody I know, everybody I associate with in my hometown is Christian. So I'm forced to deal with it all the time. And then, there's like this new, I don't know if it's happening where you're from, but here there's like this new push for normalcy again. And it feels like, like the late 80s, early 90s when people were freaking out about Satanism and all of that. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, I'm just poking people in the eye. If they notice, cool. I mean, they're the majority here, so they could use a little pushing, in my opinion.
Yeah, do you think it was what happened with the pandemic that kind of caused that to happen? Because I've noticed here in Australia, even though people say that we're back to normal, we are far from what it was pre-COVID. Do you think it was that time that kind of caused that rise to rise again where you are in East Texas as well?
I don't really know, man. I think it's just kind of the natural ebb and flow of things. It seems like I've gotten old enough now to kind of experience a couple of highs and lows of progressivism and that kind of political spectrum. So I think we're just kind of on the other end of that. And, hopefully the good people of the world win, as they usually do. But I think it's just that, man. I think it's just natural. I think we had a bunch of progressive ideas and policies and things like that. And this is just kind of blowback from, several good years, I think.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit about your writing process. As you mentioned, there are instrumentals and also vocals as well. What's your writing process like? Do you normally start with the instrumentals and then the vocals come later? How does that work for you?
I usually know what I'm going to do with a track when I sit down with it. It's very rare that, because it's not, I've played in bands for years before this, and it's a much more organic process, writing songs in a band. This is like pretty structured, so I usually have the basic idea. So if it's going to be a vocal track, I usually know I'm sitting down to work on it. And the same for an instrumental track. I might hear a song that inspires me, something like that usually gets me going.
So how long does it normally take you to put together a track? Like it sounds like working alone, you kind of enjoy that a little bit more than working in a band. How long does it normally take you to put together a track, and is that right? Do you enjoy working alone more than being in a band?
It can be anywhere from a couple of days to, several weeks. I've definitely worked on a song for probably 6 or 7 weeks before, but typically it's probably like 4 days to 2 weeks maybe. And, it just depends, sometimes things just work. Sometimes things take a little more, finesse and, pushing things around to see how everything's going to fall. And then, what was the second part of the question, man? My bad.
Oh, sorry. I was just, wondering also, like, about the whole different side to this album. Like, this one seems a little bit more aggressive and stuff like that. How did that come about? Was that something that you'd pre-planned? And also, do you enjoy doing solo stuff more than being in a band? Because it sounds like you can really let your creativity flow here.
Yeah, that's as far as the heaviness of this record, I kind of knew I wanted to do that before I started writing it, just because of, just paying attention to the feedback on the last couple. And it just, I just recently put the mask back on, so it just kind of felt right to kind of pull in some of those older, heavier sounds and, mix it with new ideas and see if I could do something new. And as far as, like, whether I like writing like this or in a band, I mean, they both have their advantages. I definitely had gotten sick of bouncing ideas off other people, but it's been quite a while now, so I don't know. I think I like it both ways. Just, depends on the day and my mood. And back when I was in bands, the mood of the members that you're playing music with.
Yeah. I found it funny with your last album, there were so many people out there trying to pigeonhole you into a genre, but I think this album shows even more that you've kind of created your own genre in a sense. Is that something that you've been aware of with your music, that it's very hard for people to label, but now it feels like you've actually created your own genre?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's I keep getting that kind of feedback, and that's really awesome. I mean, I think every artist aspires to create something original, when you start making music. So to hear that from people, and I think that's the biggest compliment I've ever gotten. So, yeah, I mean, I'll lean into that, but I don't know if I created something completely new. I definitely have tried to, and like I said, getting the feedback that it is kind of that thing is surreal and kind of humbling in a way.
Yeah. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, we've been playing Widow's song on our show, and we've been getting requests for it. Tell us a little bit about the story behind Widow's song, because I believe this is a very, very personal track for you.
Yeah, so the title is the title of it was a band, a local band here that I was good friends with the singer. This was probably, 15 years ago maybe, and the band's name was Widow Song, and it was kind of like, Southern metal, but it was really good. Anyway, I'd been really good friends with the singer for years, and then that band kind of broke up. He moved to a different city, and he passed away, like, suddenly and really unexpectedly. So the song's kind of a dedication to him and the band and all the members that are still alive. But the lyrics are more kind of from, if you were looking at the world from Jesus' perspective, through, his eyes now, it's like everything that his life meant is kind of boiled down to nothing. It doesn't matter. People really don't care. So that's kind of where lyrically it's coming from, just kind of a place of defeat as far as the Messiah goes.
That's pretty deep, like, to think about it that way. What was that like, taking yourself into that perspective and kind of writing it from that perspective?
I don't know. I kind of like to look at, the three main religions of today. They're pretty modern, so I kind of like to look at the figures of those religions in real terms, like they were real people and what they would have gone through mentally. And so, yeah, I mean, it's fun, I think, to think from the perspective of, the Messiah or Satan or Vishnu, whatever. The mythology around all these big religions is so good that it's just easy to put yourself in those positions. And yeah, I mean, it's just fun to look at the world through, like how Jesus might see it today, because I don't think it doesn't look the way that I think Christians think it should look. I don't know. That sounds bad because Christians are kind of weird and they want that weird shit, but it's no utopia, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the album drops on March 8th. What are your plans after that? Will you be doing shows, or what are the plans going forward for this year?
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some one-off shows around the album, probably here in the States. I'm pretty positive I'll be in Europe later this year, and then there's probably going to be a full U.S. later this year. I don't know. Australia, I was just there, so it's probably going to be a while before I make it back there. But, yeah, that's the plan. I mean, everything's really busy right now touring, so we're just trying to squeeze in where we can.
Yeah. And how did you find your trip to Australia? Was it something that you hope to do again in the future?
Yeah, dude, that was probably my favorite trip, honestly. I mean, I'm not just saying that. It's like everybody that I was in contact with in your country was like super accepting and accommodating, and I just had a really positive experience, really wholesome almost even. So it was a blast, and it came about, I think the guys that with the promotion company saw me at Psycho Las Vegas, and they were already booking Perturbator, and they were like, let's add Gost. But yeah, I can't wait to come back. It's amazing.
Awesome. Well, man, we are going to play Widow Song again on our show right now. So what would you like to say to everybody out there, not only before they take a listen to this amazing track, but before they go out and grab Propecy on March the 8th as well?
If you do pick up the record, I really appreciate the support, obviously. And as far as, I don't know, try to be nice to your fellow man.